Okay. Can you hear me now? Let's see. Check the volume. Volume's all the way up. Oh, Department of Education. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sapphire Ridge News, where we talk about conservative politics, lawfare, and current events. Come join us and chat on YouTube, um, or even chat from X. It should show up on my YouTube or on my StreamYard streaming software. So, boy, the Department of Education, them Democrats really have their fingers in the till, is what I'm thinking, because Maxine Waters, a whole host of them, was out there and they were trying to get the security guard to open the door. That man should get a medal for having to put up with her. He showed, and I think, and from the discussions I've had with others, he can sue her because she doxed his information live. He showed her his ID once, and she gave the crowd his name, told them to go and tell his friends and family members that he was standing in the way of Congress. And from what I was told, what she did was illegal because she doxed him live on air. That I think that's awful what she did. Gave out his name, told people to go look him up on social media and tell him how they felt about him standing in the way of Congress, getting inside. Yeah, that's awful. That is awful. They don't have then this morning, Julianne, do you know who Lindy Lee is? Okay, Lindy was one of Kamala's Democratic fundraisers. Lindy rightfully asked for an accounting of where the money was and where went to that they had spent. She said, I helped them raise $1.5 billion, almost $2 billion, and they spent it in 3 months. She said, and she said on the Benny show yesterday, she said, my donors are not tied to a party, they are tied to me. If I say we need to go to the other side, they're all going with me. And she said, and she was almost in tears yesterday, said that she has been being threatened by a lawyer that he's going to send her a cease and desist letter and, quote, shut her up. And she's been getting death threats. She was almost in tears. She said, my great grandparents were killed by Chairman Mao. She said, we fled China barely with our lives. She said, to be called a Chinese spy is outrageous. She said, I am an American. I'm a true blue patriot. My blood bleeds red, white, and blue. She said, and just because I asked for accounting for the millions and millions of dollars that I helped raise, I was called the C word. I was called WHORE. She said, I was called all kinds of vile names just for asking questions. She said, then Benny asked her, at what point did you decide you were done with the party? She said, at the debate. Said she was at the debate with Joe Biden and Trump. And she said she sat next to Biden. She said, I am not married. It is well known in the community that I'm not married. She said, Biden looked me square in the eyes and said, when you get home, give your husband a hug. I'm so sorry he couldn't be here. She said, at that point, she knew that he was not going to be able to run, that he was out to lunch. And she said, one of her donors is a doctor that specializes in Parkinson's, and said that she looked at some videotape of him, of Biden, and she said, my donor, who's a doctor who specializes in Parkinson's, said he's got all the traits of Parkinson's. So we need to pray for Lindy because she's been getting death threats. No American on either side of the party should get death threats because they want to know how their money is spent. That's outrageous. I have been praying for her all morning, you know. And she said that she recently hooked up with Nicole Shanahan, and her and Nicole are going to fundraise for the Republican Party together. And I'm glad because Lindy comes across as a very sweet girl who, helps raise money. And for her to be called all those names, yeah, for her to be called all those names just because her donors wanted to know, hey, where did our money go if they're broke? Which is a logical, understanding question. But she said that the the Democrat Party has been taken over by the Chinese communists. She said because they act just like them. She said in China, you don't get to question those in power. If you do, the military or the police will come get you during the night and no one will see you again. Yeah, greed. She said she had some donors that gave $100 million. And then she said, I found out that they were paying for low level staffers to stay at 5-star hotels. She said, that is not done. She said, yeah, they get a hotel room, a clean hotel room, but they don't necessarily get to stay at a 5-star hotel. But she was heavy on my heart this morning when I seen Benny's interview of her and seeing her almost crying. That breaks my heart. The Bar Association is not supposed to be tied in with government funds. The Bar Association is how lawyers get their bar card. They have to take, and each state has its own chapter of the bar. Right. That's right. That's true. But what I'm saying, the Bar Association is supposed to be independent. They, what's the right word? They manage the lawyers. If a lawyer, excuse me, does something bad, you can write a complaint to the Bar Association and they will investigate it. Yeah, I'm curious too. I know they're not supposed to be tied, but that don't mean that they aren't. You know what I mean? That does not mean that they're not. Look at all the crap we found from USAID. And stuff from USAID is still getting found. Yeah, they use Latin, which nobody speaks Latin, not even the Latin countries speak Latin. So that should tell you something, right? They call it Latin America. I don't know why, because nobody speaks Latin, right? They all speak Spanish, but they don't want to call them Spanish America. I had to run out a few minutes ago and turn up the heater on my koi pond a little bit because I got new heaters and put in yesterday, and I set them on 76, and they did fine overnight. But then I seen that it's supposed to get down to -10 tonight and then -22 tomorrow night. So I thought I better turn up the heaters just a little bit. Yep. Don't want to wake up to frozen koi popsicles. That would not be good, huh? Spend $500 on koi and wake up to frozen popsicles. That would be very bad. Wow. I know my cousin is a retired teacher. She doesn't get that. Her 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 retirement in Illinois is similar to Social Security, but it's handled by the state of Illinois, and she gets about what people get on Social Security, a little bit more. Yeah, they they don't get Social Security. They get a separate retirement check, separate from Social Security. They don't get Social Security unless they've recently changed it. They pay into a separate fund called the Teachers Retirement Fund. But they could have changed it because the Teachers Retirement Fund does not give them a lot of money. Right. See, the way it's supposed to be done is it's supposed to be in a quote managed fund. It's supposed to be in a managed fund that makes money that when the teacher retires, they look at her years of service and she gets a set amount, she or he gets a set amount for their retirement. Yeah, it never turns down to the teacher because the union bosses take she got forced out of the union. She left with a big golden parachute. She, yeah, my cousin was one of the rare good teachers. She was a good teacher. My sound is weird. Is it still weird? Hold on. Um, There, is that better? It booted me out of the streaming software and said something went wrong, and I was like, no fucking shit. Oh, the gremlins are loose. I would be glad when I get my MacBook because as much as I love my iPad, I was looking at the the platform that I use on the iPad compared to what it is on a MacBook or another laptop. There are more features on a MacBook. Like down at the bottom here, I went round and round with their stupid tech support. I told them they're fucking ignorant and dumb. At the bottom of my screen, it says mute, stop camera, settings, invite, leave studio. They tried to tell me that in between invite and leave studio, that there's a button that says share. I told them, no, there's not. I had to take a screenshot of my screen and send it to them, and they still said there was a button there named share. It's like, no, there's not. It says mute, stop cam, settings, invite, leave studio. That's it. And there's supposed to be a separate button there that says share so that when I'm streaming like this and say Kat Not Williams is streaming and I want to share her stream, I click on share and put in her YouTube channel, and then I can share, or it's also called restreaming. I can restream her channel. And she has said I can do that. But I got to get the stupid software to work. And there's a better software for MacBooks called eCam, ECAMM. I'm thinking about just doing that. And I thought about trying out um, this other streaming software called EVMux, EVMUX. It's free to download, but then, like everything, the free version doesn't give you everything. Their paid version has restreaming capabilities built in, but it's $49.95 a month. Ecamm is $32 a month. Oh, excuse me. Wow. I just pulled up X. Guess where Christy Nome is? Christy Nome is in Swannanoa, North Carolina, helping the locals clean up their town. She's on the ground with them. You know, that's some people don't like Trump, When you look at the people, the caliber of the people he put in place, like Kristi Noem, who's on the ground helping the people of North Carolina, that's a good deal because Biden hung them out to dry. And Laugh Always may not be coming to our channel very long. She sent me a message on X saying that she can't hardly bring herself to come to my channel because I'm so pro Trump and she hates Trump. I told her, well, then come to my other channel, my photography channel. I don't talk about politics at all. I, re- I really like Laugh a lot. But when she sent me a message like that, you know what I mean, Julianne? Right. It really upset me because here she was acting like she was my friend and all of that. And then out of the blue, and I knew that she didn't like Trump, but she was still helping me out on my channel because she cared about me. And then she sent me that message. It's like, well, wait a minute. Right? Because I don't think that was very nice of her to do that. Right? But the funny thing about Kellyanne's husband, Kellyanne's husband was not always a lib. He was a George Bush Republican. George Conway was a George Bush Republican, and he come out against Trump. Well, that was the end of him. And their daughter came out as a lesbian. At least that's the way I took what she said. Yeah, he really did. Yeah, I really commended J.D. Vance yesterday. The Democrats, see, there's a kid that works with Doge. His online uh, screen name is Big Balls, which people come up with weird screen names nowadays. But anyhow, in some of his posts, he was acting like he could be racist, and he, but the Democrats took it as racist. What he said was, I don't believe that you should marry outside of your race, your ethnicity, is how he put it. That's not being racist. That is not being racist. And J.D. Vance stood up for him yesterday and said, Elon needs to hire him back. And so the left is losing their mind, saying, you know, that they're hiring racists and blah, 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 blah. His post did not say that. Yeah. Trump said to JD yesterday, he said, told the reporter that asked about it, he said, this is the first time hearing about it, JD. And JD said, we need to hire him back. And he said, and Trump looked up and said, if JD thinks we need to hire him, we're hiring him. But here's something interesting. I want to get your take on this. I heard this um, over the weekend, last weekend. They said, now we want you to think about this. Said, could it be that Trump is doing all this stuff in a hurry to get everything done before he's in office 2 years, and at the 2 year mark, he will retire and hand it over to JD, and JD can pick whoever he wants for vice president? And I heard that, and I thought, that sounds like a bold Trump move, right? That sounds like something Trump would do. Let JD pick Tulsi for VP. The left would lose their minds totally, right? They're already burning down whatever marbles they had. Lindy said something interesting this morning. She said the Democrat Party did not learn their lesson. She said, how do I know they did not learn their lesson? She said, at their conference last weekend, they rehired 60% of the same managers. Said the only names that changed were the names at the top. And now the vice chair of the DNC, his main platform is defund the police and and eliminate ICE and eliminate all guns in America. That's it. That's going to be the Democratic Party's platform in 2 years. Good luck winning any votes on that, right? Eliminate all guns in America. You're going to have a bunch of people say no and hell no, right? Because, yeah, she said the same managers that ran the last election and failed were rehired at the DNC. She said the only two names that changed were the names at the top, and they're even more radical than the people that just left. She said, so that tells you they learned zero. Let them try to go into Appalachia and say, we're going to take away your guns, right? I'm not. They have their sycophants that'll dole out money. Like, you know who one of the biggest fundraisers for the DNC is? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Right. Because tobacco is legal, alcohol is legal. There's no need in having an agency within the DOJ that goes after alcohol and tobacco when both of them are legal, right? And something I found out recently that surprised me. Country picker Brad Paisley is a rabid Democrat. Right. And, these people that are fighting, they're going to lose. Yet another episode, I knew about the two. The two happened in the same day. Yeah, he fell twice. One time he fell down the stairs. And then after the second fall, he's confined to a wheelchair. Damn. Caught it that time. Yeah, he fell twice. He needs to just retire. Yeah, the I think that he's going to retire because the Kentucky uh, legislature just voted that the governor cannot name a replacement for either one of their senators. That the senator, um, how did they word it? The party of the departing senator names the replacement, which, okay, we're just going to talk balls and strikes here. I have relatives in Kentucky. Kentucky is a Republican state. Their current governor is a Democrat who pretended that he believed in Republican policies and bushwhacked the people into voting him in. And he's term limited out next time. And they said there will be a Republican governor. I think it's tragic, not tragic, that's not the right word, atrocious when a Democrat who believes in abortion, believes in all this stuff that we don't believe in, says, oh, yeah, you know, I'm not for any of this, that, the other, when his record in the Congress was, or in the state house was the most liberal in Kentucky history. It's like, what is wrong with these people, right? What is wrong with them that they believe the lies coming out of these politicians' mouths? Now, I did have one cousin that was a diehard Democrat, but he was the old school Democrat. He believed that the Democrats were there to help people, which is no longer the case. Yeah, well, you know, now this is an interesting thing. So remember the incident with the ship hitting the bridge in Maryland? Guess who owned that ship? You're not going to believe this. Elaine Chow's sister's company owned that ship. Elaine Chow's family owns a bunch of shipping companies. And the minute it was found out that it was Elaine Chow's sister, everything was swept under the rug, which I don't believe in sweeping stuff under the rug. Get it out, get it into the open, and fix it. There's a saying, sunlight is the best antiseptic. But Elaine Chow's sister owned that ship. And that ship was plagued with engine problems. Yeah, Angela Chow is Elaine Chow's sister. Elaine Chow is married to Mitch McConnell. I don't know if she was killed in a car wreck, but the the ship that hit the bridge and knocked out the Key Bridge in Maryland, Elaine Chow's sister owned the company that owned that ship. And you notice that once it was found out that the company was owned by Elaine Chow's sister, everything went silent. No, that wasn't debunked. The AP is a liberal newspaper. You think they're going to tell you the truth? They're going to tell you it's debunked because they don't want people to talk about it. They don't want people to talk about it. How do you think that Mitch McConnell got his nickname Cocaine Mitch? Wasn't from him doing cocaine. It was because the rumor was that Elaine Chow's family shipped it in from China. The foremost group did not own the Dally. Well, then, who owned the Dally? Because we were told that night that it was owned by the foremost group and that Elaine Chow's sister was en route to the scene. Okay, so we'll do a little, oops, let's see. Not G, G West. I have big fat fingers, and sometimes the keys type in shit that I didn't type. Here, PolitiFact says Angela Chow was the CEO of a shipping company called Grace Ocean Private Limited. And then it says Dolly, the ship that destroyed the bridge on March the 26th, is owned by Singapore's Grace Ocean Pte. Limited. Chow, who died in a car crash this February, was the CEO. That is from the first one was from PolitiFact, the second one was from Reuters. I show 18. So it's got to be adding me into the mix somehow. Now, see, Reuters, they're liberal, so they're going to make excuses for a Democrat. The other PolitiFact says that Angela Chow was the CEO, but Reuters says Angela Chow was CEO of Foremost Group, not Dolly owner Grace Ocean. I've never believed Reuters a day in my life. They lie and then swear to it. Yep, we will find out. We guess who? I think this is cool that I get to share this with you guys. I just found this out this morning. Guess who the next target of Doge is? FEMA. They've already started looking at the books of FEMA, which I think is great because FEMA used to do great work. And one thing I disagree with on Trump is FEMA should do like they used to do. FEMA used to manage the resources, like, say, Florida had a hurricane. FEMA would stage all the equipment 3 to 4 hours away from the last known track of where the hurricane was going to hit at. And then immediately after the hurricane cleared, they would get the equipment into place. I think that's how it should go back to. I don't think that we should give the money to the individual states and let the states do it because California would sure fuck it up. And I got a whole stream I'm getting ready to do on an update to the California wildfires. When I saw this yesterday, I was shocked. So, you know how Pacific Palisades is cute and quaint and has, well, it did have the individual family homes, and each one was a little bit different from the next one. They're getting rid of all of them and putting in multi use, which means it's going to be all apartment buildings, either apartment buildings or condos. That is tragic because you have so many areas there that had gorgeous houses. Yeah, they were overpriced, but they were just quaint, cute little houses. That's being all eliminated, and everything will be multi use. Yeah, but now they don't even do that. Before Trump took office, the people in North Carolina, mind you, in the mountains, in the snow, were given a tent to sleep in. They were giving out these people tents to sleep in. And then they said when their benefit got to $750, they would get no more money. That their limit was $750. Use it wisely. Yeah, it has billions on the books, but when you have the FEMA administrator telling her managers, don't talk to anyone that has a Trump sign in the yard because they're likely to punch you out, which is totally not true. Right. Yeah, Pete said we will have an audit and we will pass the audit and we will find out where the money is going, and if it's not appropriated for, we will find out who was supposed to have appropriated it, and we will take care of business. He said he told his people to get ready for a complete audit and that they had better pass. Right. See, how do you think these congressmen come into office with two nickels to scratch together, and just 3 years later, they're worth millions of dollars? I laughed at this one article yesterday, tried to debunk the fact that AOC is worth $45 million, said that her known net worth is $45,000. I said, are you on drugs? Right. You know, Newt Gingrich used to hold a class, which they don't hold anymore, which they should start doing again, telling these new Congress people, if you go out to lunch or dinner with your fellow congressman, do not let them pay the bill. Because once you let them pay the bill, they own you, literally, and they will not let you forget it. And that's why I tried to explain to one of my cousins, he's very much pro term limits. And I told him, term limits doesn't solve the problem. The problem is the corruption. You need to fix the corruption before you do term limits. They're supposed to be working on it. He's working on an executive order that gives the DOJ the ability to publish it. We need to get all this stuff out in the open. If there's corruption, eliminate the corruption. Just fix the damn stuff. Just fix it, right? So I show 19. How many do you show on X? Please remember, everyone, to like and share and subscribe. Those of you on X, if you would come over to YouTube even for a few minutes and just like the video, it would be greatly appreciated, because when you like a video or subscribe to a person's channel, then YouTube sends that information out through the algorithm, and the channel gets put in front of more and more people. Let's grow this channel. And those of you on X, you can comment, and it'll be posted here in my streaming, so that I can see, where the different people come from. Even if you just put, the country you're in or the state you're in. You don't got to tell me everything. I'm always interested to know how far my channel reaches. Trying to think of a topic for tomorrow. I may just do a sit down like we're doing right now and talk about Doge. Yeah, we're all friends here. I don't I don't chastise people for their views. The only thing that I ask are, don't insult the host, be friendly, and share this channel. Let's grow this channel. And much love to my mods. Julianne is the only mod here today, but I do have others. We're all friends here, is right, Julianne. There should be a way, Julianne, for them to just chat on X and for it to show up on the streaming chat. I started doing this earlier in the day because during the week, my aide comes at about between 2 and 3 my time. And I was doing my lives at 2 o'clock, which is 4 Central, and then having to hurry up and get offline and make sure everything was ready for her. So I started doing it at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is noon my time. and I do my photography streams in the evening. Because I really am rather interested to know what the people on X are thinking. Want to hear from them. Want to hear from all my people. Huh. Well, I didn't get rid of them. I'm not even on X right now. Want me to check? See what's going on? Trying to figure this out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Because normally I can go and search through. It shows me here. Found it. We're live. Yeah, the left is throwing the damn fit. So shows 16 views. But that is the USAID stream. I'm looking. Okay. It's not showing your post. You know how you always share the stream on X? I believe you, Julianne. It's just something weird is going on over there because it always shows like when you share the stream, it always shows on my end under notifications. Let's do it this way. It's not what I wanted it to do. Well, that's weird. They put it under media. Let's do this. Let's like it. Let's repost it. Wow. But it fixed the sound, but screwed up everything else, huh? 'Cause it's all whacked out now. I did share it. Let's make sure it shared it. Yep, it shared it. I did a repost. Right. The important thing is to keep learning, to keep moving, to keep growing, which is hard to do in the wintertime in Montana because we got like 12 inches of snow overnight, and it's currently like 5 degrees. Supposed to go down to -10 tonight, and then -20 or some crazy thing tomorrow night. That's why I braved the cold and went out there and turned up the heaters on the pond a little bit. Well, it shows 23 now, so we're gaining ground. If everybody comes to YouTube and just likes and subscribes to the channel, that will be a great thing, because the more people that like and subscribe, the more YouTube says, hey, what he has to say is interesting. Maybe we should spread the YouTube algorithm. That came out wrong. Maybe we should spread his channel out on the algorithm more. So we've been, wow, hour and 20 minutes. Right. I'm interested in your thoughts on news events, you know, and one of the things about my channel is I value your comments. Even if you send me a comment after the stream is over, I get notified and I do go read it and leave you a reply, because that's the way we grow this channel, is by listening to what others have to say and not chastising them and not berating them, by just listening to what they have to say and having a decent conversation. You don't have to have the same exact views as mine for me to have a conversation with you. Julianne knows this. Julianne and I have had many, many conversations, haven't we, Julianne? Right. We do want the truth. And it is hard to sift through, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a conversation about it. You know, there are some hard truths coming out there, coming at us about what happened to JFK. I need to do an update because there's some more stuff going to be coming out in the coming weeks that I don't think we're ready for as a country. This stuff has been hidden for so long that when we read it at first, we're not going to want to believe it. But most of it is true. Like, I need to have my nephew on when we do that, because he used to have an entire library dedicated to the JFK unaliving. He knows his stuff when it comes to JFK. I will I will get a hold of him. Maybe we can do something tomorrow in the afternoon. I have to see what his availability is. But I did um, the JFK update like a week or so ago. But I want to go through it again with his knowledge to add along to it. Right. Yeah, see, that's why Lindy Lee is getting death threats because she named names. When she went on Sean Ryan, she said, "You're going to try to burn me down? I'm taking y'all with me." And she named names on the Sean Ryan podcast. She said, Obama, through his, uh, I call them lackeys, she called them aides and cohorts. They have been the ones running the country for the last 4 years. She said, Joe Biden has been out to lunch for the last 4 years. Yeah, Elon paid $250 million to play ads during the Super Bowl. I'm going to watch it just for the ads. It's tomorrow, right? Yeah, Trump will be the first president to ever personally attend a Super Bowl. I find that interesting. Yep, Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to get my snacks all ready to this afternoon. That way, I just got to heat them up tomorrow or whatever. I'm going to make some homemade salsa. Yeah, they sure get along, is right. And I was laughing my head off at AOC on Wednesday. She actually said that Elon Musk is the most unintelligent man she's ever met. And the then somebody asked when had she met him. She said, "Oh, I've never met him." I was laughing. Right, because Elon Musk, the one kid, not Big Boss, the other kid, He's 19 and he owns 5 companies at 19. 19 years old. He owns 5 companies. And he's 19 years old and he's in his final year of college. That blew me away. He's in his senior year of college at 19. We need people like him working for the government on stuff like this. When I heard that he was 19 and owned 5 companies, I thought, wow, they're all tech companies. But can you imagine being 19 and owning 5 different companies? And the 5 tech companies, they don't do the same things. They all do different things. That blew my mind that he owns 5 companies and they do 5 different things in the tech industry. Right. But that kid, this 19 years old that owns 5 different tech companies, he's going to be the next Elon Musk. That's what I thought of. He's going to be the next Elon. In 20 years, he's going to be among the richest people in the world because he's not afraid to work. And these people that try to sell these kids down the river really tick me off. Like Vivek telling tech companies, don't hire American kids. That American kids, their parents are satisfied with them being mediocre. Just because the school has failed the child doesn't mean the child is mediocre. He needs to get off of that grift because American children, some of them are really, really smart. And we don't need people like Vivek telling tech companies don't hire American kids because they're mediocre. That's a bunch of BS. That really trips my trigger because I know personally some smart kids, American kids that are really, really smart and they don't deserve to be told they're mediocre. Well, I'm going to get off of here. We've been at this for an hour and a half. Right. I'm going to get off of here. It's been nice talking with you, Julianne. We will be back tomorrow. I'll work on tomorrow's stream. in a little bit and get it posted so you can be notified. Take care. Bye for now.